Assalamu alaikum class. After completing the perfect competition, our next topic is chapter 9, patterns of imperfect competition. In this, we are going to take a look at another market structure or another extreme. This market structure is totally opposite to perfect competition. So let's start with the definition first. Imperfect competition, opposite to perfect competition, that there are few sellers in market. Each individual firm has some degree, not complete, but some degree of control over the prices, which means that firms are not price taker anymore like in perfect competition, and uncertainty exists, that is no perfect knowledge like in perfect competition. So totally opposite to perfect competition, that both buyers and sellers are unaware of the market situation, uncertainty, different prices prevail for the same product, a producer is not a price taker anymore, and there are few sellers or maybe a single seller in market. Now when we talk about that each individual firm has some degree of control over the price, to observe that, we are going to take a look of a product, let's say considering Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Both are producing a cola product and competing in the same market, but on the basis of price. On the basis of price means that if one producer increase or decrease the price, the other is going to follow the same strategy in order to maintain their market share, because if they are not following the same pattern, they will be out of the market. Let's suppose that on special occasions, let's say in Ramzan or maybe during Eid or Christmas or any other festival, Coca-Cola has announced a decrease in price. Pepsi, it is going to follow the same pattern. They are announcing the decrease in price as well. And the reason is that if they are not following the same price, they are going to lose their market share or they are going to lose their consumers in market. So, but if the firm is reducing the price, let's say price of 1 liter Pepsi is, or 1.5 liter Pepsi is 80 rupees, and the price is reduced to, let's say, 75 rupees. Pepsi in the same manner is going to reduce the price to 75, but it means that even at 75 they are maximizing the profit. That is why they are reducing the price. If they are unable to cover their expense, or if it is not feasible, the firm is never or not going to reduce the price of the product. So it means that in this case the firm do not have an absolute control, but to some degree or to some extent it can influence the price or it can change the price, unlike the perfect competition. In perfect competition, where the firms are price taker, they cannot change the price, but this is not the condition in imperfect competition. So considering that, let's take a look at the demand curve under perfect competition. So since the producer can change the price or can influence the price, so it is not horizontal like in case of perfect competition, rather it is downward sloping. Price is vertical axis, quantity horizontal axis, it is a downward sloping demand curve, which shows that if the firm reduces the price, demand is going to be increased and sales are going to be higher as well. Let's say that you already know that how the demand curve operates, that initial price is P1, quantity is lower. If the price is reduces to Q2, quantity is going to be increased for the producer. So to increase the sales, the firm can reduce the price because that is going to increase the demand in market. Now when we compare this demand curve with perfect competition, there's a difference in that. It is mentioned over here. A is the demand curve for the perfect competition, B is the demand curve for the imperfect competition. In perfect competition, producer is a price taker. Prices are given, it cannot change the price, so producer has to adjust the quantities at given prices. However, in case of imperfect competition, demand curve is downward sloping, which means that the producer can adjust the price to increase the sales or to affect the quantity or the demand in market. Or in other words, we can say in perfect competition, demand curve is downward sloping, which means producer is a price maker. So these are two opposite situations: price taker behavior, perfect competition; price setter or price maker behavior in imperfect competition. So from here, let's take a look at that what are the different types of imperfect competition exist in our markets. There are three types of imperfect competition. First one is monopoly, second is oligopoly, and third is monopolistic competition. So let's first start with the monopoly. A single seller or a single producer which has complete control over the whole supply of the product, which has no close substitute. So if there is a single producer or a single supplier in the market, then and the substitute is not available, it means that the firm or the producer has complete control over the market, and it has the power to control the prices as well. It can charge any price that it wants because the substitute of the product is not available. Then monopoly cannot exist in long run without government permission. Only if the government allows, only then monopoly can sustain or exist in long run. Two examples I have mentioned over here, WAPDA and Sui Nadran Gas. These are the examples of public utilities. Public utilities means that these are the basic services which are used by any individual, not in Pakistan only, but world over. Public utilities are mainly controlled by the government. So, WAPDA, it is a single producer which produces and supply the or distribute the electricity in Pakistan. The other substitutes could be the solar power, but that is more expensive, so it is better to pay the bills charged by WAPDA. And since we do not have any substitute or cheaper alternate against it, so whatever the prices they asked, we are bound to pay that. In the same manner, if we want to have a gas connection at our home, it has to be taken from the Sui Nadran gas. For basically, it is divided into two parts. One is the Sui Nadran gas, and maybe you have heard about Sui Southern gas as well. That's for the southern region. It has been divided into two regions, northern region and southern region. But in our region, if you want a Sui gas connection at your home, it has to be taken from Sui gas or Sui Nadran gas. Otherwise, the other options or substitutes are relatively more expensive and difficult to use as well. So monopoly, single producer, complete control over the price, and no substitute available. Then comes the second market structure, which is oligopoly. Oligopoly, a market structure in which there are few sellers and the range is between 10 to 15. Few sellers means that as the number of producer increases, monopoly single seller, oligopoly few seller, and the range is between 10 to 15. And the main feature of oligopoly is that each individual firm can affect the price. They cannot completely influence the price, but to some extent they can control or they can change the price. For example, airline companies, cell phone service providers, household electronic appliances, all these are the examples of oligopoly. Airline companies world over, if you see, there are not more than 10 or maximum at 15 airline companies, and they are all competing on the basis of prices in market. That according to the time, for instance, if you are taking a flight or individual is taking a flight in morning, the rates are higher, and but it is going to be for all the companies. Either it is Emirates or it is PIA or it is, let's say, Qatar Airways or any other. But if they are taking the night coach, then the rates are relatively lower. In the same manner, cell phone service providers, in considering the case of Pakistan, that there are 4 or 5 service providers in the market. It can either be the Ufone, or let's say that Jazz, or what else, or what are the other service providers. So they are all providing the same type of services and competing on the basis of price as well. Same is the case with the household electronic appliances. Household electronic appliances, that the refrigerators, or could be the split units, or the LCDs, or what else we can say, that microwave. So there are many companies which are providing the same type of appliances, but again competing with their competitors on the basis of price in market. Now, again, when we say that competing on the basis of price, it means that if one of the firm reduces the price, the other follow the same pattern to maintain their market share. That if one firm reduce the price, the rival will also decrease the price, because if they are not going to follow the pattern, they are going to lose their customer. For instance, if we are considering the case of telephone or the cell phone service providers, if Ufone has announced some specific service or announced some package for their consumers, the same will be offered by the Warid, or will be offered by the Jazz, or any other company. For instance, Zong, for example. The reason is that if they are not following the same, they are going to lose their consumers, which can easily switch over to their rival competitor. Now, when they're competing on the basis of price, this behavior sometimes leads to a price war among the competitors as well, which means that price war means that when they are competing on the basis of price in market. So to avoid this price war, in some cases or in some industries, firms create cartel. So let's first define this term cartel. Cartel, it is an extended form of oligopoly, that when number of firms sit together and jointly determines the price of the product or market share. That either they determine the price or market share, not both of them at the same time. But legally, cartel is not allowed by the government, because that leads to consumer exploitation. It is actually a secret agreement among the firms, secret in a sense that it is not an open agreement, rather it is a secret agreement that they are going to follow the same price. For example, in Pakistan, sugar industry is a biggest example of cartel, that no matter from where you are going to buy the sugar, the price is going to be the same. Cement industry is another example of a cartel, where you are going to find the same brand or the same quality of cement at the same price, no matter from where you are purchasing. But when there is a secret agreement, or when the firm set up the cartel, cheating is one of the common element in cartels. Since it is a secret agreement, so normally the firms cheat with their rivals or with their competitors. Cheating in a sense that if the price, one common price is decided, but if one of the seller secretly start charging a lower price, then it can maximize its profit. Now, an international example of cartel is OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, that the major oil exporters, mostly it includes the Middle East countries, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar. They've formed this organization. What they do, that once a year, or if required more than once, they sit together and jointly determines the price of petrol, and the same price will be charged by all the petroleum exporting countries with their customers. And why there is no action has been taken against this organization? Because the countries are itself involved in it, so no legal action has been taken against this. But if in any country the government realizes that a firm or an industry, not a firm, but an industry has made a cartel, that the government can take a legal action against them, that not only the organizations can be banned, but they can be heavily fined as well. Okay, from oligopoly, let's come to the third type of imperfect competition, which is monopolistic competition, in which there are large number of sellers which produce differentiated products. It is similar to perfect competition in a sense that, if you remember, in perfect competition there are large number of sellers. The same is in the case of monopolistic competition, but the difference is that in perfect competition product is identical. However, over here differentiated products are produced and sold by the producers. The examples of monopolistic competition, it could be the washing powder, soaps, toothpaste, shampoos, biscuits, breakfast cereals, or it could be let's say hand wash, sanitizer. All these are the different examples of the monopolistic competition, that number of firms are producing the same product, but how the product differentiation is created. When we said that there is a difference in product, that differentiated products are ones whose important characteristics vary. It means that difference in brand, difference in packaging, size or quality, there will be a difference in the product. Let's say, considering a case of shampoos, when you go to the market, there are many brands of shampoos are available, and for each brand there is a difference in the quality, there's a difference in packaging, difference in brand, and the price is going to be different as well. Or if you take a case of biscuits, different brands of biscuits are available, their color, packaging, size, quality, taste, everything is different, so is the price as well. So product differentiation, it depends on research and development or advertising. The firms create the product differentiation by using these two variables. R&D or research and development, it always gives improved and better quality products, and the consumer is always willing to pay more for the better quality product. Advertising, again, promotion, that how the product is being launched or introduced to the customer, it also increases the market share. Okay, previously I have discussed the example of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. These two companies, they are using these two variables to create their or to maintain their market share. Research and development, for instance, if you are talking about Coca-Cola, then same product is available in different quantities, or if you are diet conscious, Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke is available as well. It is available in a case of tin, it is available in regular bottle, it is available in 1.5 liter bottle, 2.5 liter bottle. So according to the convenience of the consumer, the same product is available according to their choice. Advertising, continuously you are watching the ads of Coca-Cola on printed on the media. It could be the printed media or it could be the other one, that if on the televisions, if you're continuously observing the ads, then the impact is that whenever you go to buy a drink, you always ask for the Coke. So that's the effect of the advertising. Or if Coca-Cola, they're sponsoring the players, sponsoring the tournaments, then again it helps them to maintain or increase their market share. So monopolistic competition, large number of sellers, but with the differentiated products, and that product differentiation is created through R&D and advertising. So concluding this topic, 3 different market structures we have discussed. I have mentioned the main characteristics of these. that with the difference in the number of sellers, market structure has changed. Monopoly, single seller, complete control over the price. Oligopoly, few sellers, range is between 10 to 15. So when the number of seller increase, some degree of control over the price as compared to monopoly. And last is monopolistic competition, large number of sellers with differentiated products, that firms are going to compete in market on the basis of product differentiation, and for that they use the tools of advertising and R&D. So let's conclude this topic over here. Next topic we are going to discuss in the second lecture, and if there are any questions we will discuss it in our live session. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.